when he gets to the top level, it'll be difficult because it's one thing getting there and it's another thing staying there. So Tyson Fury did. I'm not going to go into tactics, but he was able to annihilate Deontay Wilder and expose him for some of his weaknesses. So
this is the first time I'm talking about Deontay Wilder. I'm an elite level fighter. I'm not one of those tomato cans he's knocked out. He ain't an elite level fighter. He ain't an elite level fighter, in my opinion. He's good. It's heavyweights. So they always know one punch can change the course of a fight. But I've never ever seen in the heavyweight division of a fighter going to war with one weapon in his arsenal, which is what they say is his right hand. But when you get to top level, trust me, that don't last anymore. That don't work. So as we've seen now with certain fights of elite level fighters, he struggles at top level. He's going to struggle when he comes to fight people like myself and other heavyweights.
That was a throwback to when Anthony Joshua gave his take on Deontay Wilder losing to Tyson Fury in the rematch. And when AJ labeled Deontay Wilder as a one-trick pony. Because according to AJ, Wilder is not an elite level fighter, since he only relies on one weapon, his right hand. However, ironically, when Anthony Joshua fought Usyk last weekend, he fought exactly like a one-trick pony. And all he was looking is for that right hand counter. Everything Anthony Joshua said about Deontay Wilder ended up turning back on him. Surprisingly, he turned out to be those things. He only had one weapon, one strategy, one game plan, you name it. AJ did not adjust during the entire fight or display any versatility, even though, in my opinion, he can, at least physically. However, what's missing is the mental piece of the puzzle, which, credit to Deontay Wilder, he called it years ago. He always believed that Anthony Joshua is not confident and is not strong mentally. Wilder actually stated that on plenty of interviews.
Hey, Wilder, you ever met Anthony? You ever met him? And did he say anything to you? You know, when I went to the fight in England, that's the time when I met him. He highly respects me. I think Josh will look up to me a lot. You know what I mean? Because I am the champion that he want to be. I have confidence. I tell you what I'm gonna do. Most things comes to pass if people listen to me. All they gotta do is listen and follow me. And I think for that reason, I have, in this sport, you gotta have confidence. You gotta say you the meanest and you the baddest. It's not cocky. It's being confident because we risk our lives in there. And if any man get in that ring and feel the way I feel about them, well, because every punch I'm trying to send you to the hospital, maybe even end your life. I can't help it. It's the bronze bomber. But on the outside of the ring, I'm Deontay Wilder. Thank God I can switch between the two. Because the bronze bomber in this world.
Think about Eddie Hearn giving you those bullshit offers about that.
Man, Eddie Hearn's a promoter. Eddie Hearn's a promoter. It's just like other people. When you're a promoter and you don't have to get in the ring, you can say whatever you want to say. Because you don't have to feel the pain. But the only thing they can do, it can hurt, it can harm your fighter. He said he can get me out in 3, but Joshua saying he want to take me in 2020. That don't sound like a confident heavyweight champion. Joshua said he want to put himself in a better position to beat Deontay Wilder. When many people say, oh, he had 4 bronze, I ain't fought nobody. Hey, y'all do the math. The proof is in the pudding.
In the last champ, you supposed to have 2 fights that fell through against Povetkin.
3.
It's not your fault. 3.
I had 3. I had 2 big ones and the last one.
See, this is why Tyson Fury desperately wanted to fight Anthony Joshua, because he felt like he could have had broken him mentally. On the other hand, Tyson Fury, leading up to the trilogy with Wilder, a couple weeks ago, he said Deontay Wilder is the most dangerous fighter on the planet, in any weight class. I didn't say this. Tyson Fury said it, which is exactly why Tyson Fury cheated by tampering with his gloves in the rematch in order to secure the victory, since he knew how dangerous Deontay Wilder is. Nevertheless, getting back to AJ versus Usyk and what really caused the downfall for Anthony Joshua, here is what George Foreman had to say. Quote, saw the Joshua Usyk fight. AJ seemed afraid, ? He lost his identity. Should I be cautious, go 12, attack with my power, ? Usyk typical southpaw. If you won't hit me, I will be awarded and hit you. He took his punishments. Who are you, AJ? ? AJ just seems confused. I have been there. Too many in his ear. Make up your mind and be yourself. A puncher. Joshua has a future and a lot of ability. but he has got to learn to push his own buttons. Some corners are just waiting on their fees while we push for our destiny. End of the quote. What George Foreman is pretty much saying, Anthony Joshua fought to survive instead of fighting to win. He wasn't willing to get knocked out in order to win. Instead, he was comfortable cruising to a loss. Foreman said exactly what I have said in the past. AJ was fighting Usyk like he did not have an identity. Like he wasn't sure if he's a boxer, a counterpuncher, an aggressive fighter. He did not know what to do. Furthermore, I had laid out on my previous video exactly what AJ needs to do in order to have a chance securing the win against Usyk in the rematch. Therefore, if you missed it, here it is. One thing for sure and two things for certain. In order for Anthony Joshua to have a chance against Usyk in the rematch, he needs to fight Mike Tyson style, like the old AJ, with the peekaboo style, moving his head, bobbing and weaving his way to the inside, throwing combinations with the killer instinct intentions. That's the way to cut it. AJ is going to be forced to adapt if he really wants to win this fight, by using his weight, muscle Usyk around, bully him, in order to show Usyk that he's the smaller man. AJ needs to go from being a clean puncher to adapting roughhouse tactics in the kitchen when he's chest to chest with Usyk inside of that ring. Only then he could pull off the win. He has to fight Mike Tyson style, which by doing so, he will take Usyk power away. See, Usyk needs room to punch in order to create leverage, since he moves and punches in motion, using his entire body to punch in a technical way. Therefore, if AJ is able to fight Mike Tyson style by applying tremendous pressure, fighting chest to chest, where he's crowding Usyk, getting him off balance in the process, that will nullify Usyk by taking his power away. So Anthony Joshua's fear of getting caught in an exchange like he did with Andy Ruiz will go away, as long he doesn't punch clean and uses his weight to his advantage by muscling Usyk. More importantly, not getting caught with a counter coming in. And last but not least, Anthony Joshua's stamina issues. Now, first of all, if he makes Usyk carry his weight, then Usyk, who has great stamina, is going to feel the pace too. However, if AJ wants to take a break, then he needs to fight Teofimo Lopez style, like he did against Lomachenko. Stay all the way in the outside, control Usyk with the jab, force Usyk to take risks and come in, then counter him. Now, you guys may say, well, that's what he did last time, and it got him effed up. I mean, he really got messed up by Usyk. Usyk nearly stopped him. But there's a big difference. Anthony Joshua was trying to counter Usyk mid-range. He wasn't fighting all the way from the outside, using his reach to bait Usyk to come in, then counter him. Heck no. Instead, Anthony Joshua went to Usyk range. He fought the entire fight at the wrong distance, at mid-range, where Usyk could touch him up without even having to reach and take a risk. With that being stated, these are major adjustments Anthony Joshua has to go through, as he seemed really frustrated and confused when it came to fighting southpaws. So he has his work cut out for him. And like Mike Tyson said, boxing is 90% mental and 10% physical, which is AJ's biggest problem. AJ's biggest problem is his mental, not really his physical. I truly believe he could have adapted in the first Usyk fight, at least as far as changing his game plan, going from plan A, boxing, to plan B, fighting, and applying pressure. However, what blocked that from taking place was his mental. He was too worried that he was going to get caught with something he didn't see, like he did with Andy Ruiz, so he didn't even try. He played it safe and nearly got knocked out anyway. Like I said before on my previous video, which I'm gonna leave the link for that video in the comment section below. It seems like for AJ to go from plan A to plan B, he needs a whole training camp to make the necessary adjustments to be comfortable to implement that fight night. He can't go from plan A to plan B during the actual fight. On the other hand, Usyk in the rematch, all he needs to do is more of the same. Make it a boxing match. Force AJ to box, since AJ doesn't seem to be aware of what to do when fighting a slick southpaw, as we seen on the previous fight AJ was gauging distance with his power hand and his lead hand. I don't know what the heck he was trying to do. Gauge the distance or feint with his power hand? It was really unclear because he was standing at the wrong distance anyway. AJ was lost in the sauce, and Usyk, he needs to enforce a boxing match on AJ again. With that being stated, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi, TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.